No.
Hold on. One last thing before you jump on that. Did you see the locker room interaction between his corny buddy, Javon, whatever, and Woodley?
Yeah.
Because you barking up the wrong tree with Woodley. Woodley's a bad man.
Woodley called him out, right? Woodley's a
bad man.
Yeah.
You want nothing to do with that freak athlete. One of the freakiest athletes I've ever seen inside the cage.
Yeah.
Woodley's a slightly worse wrestler, but a much better boxer.
Agreed. And with real power. Real power.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, what was happening is this. In a professional fight, you're allowed
to watch the guy.
Exactly.
One person.
You're allowed to send one person from your team to the opponent's locker room to watch them wrap their hands. And
so they don't slide pad. People put pads in there. People put other things to make their hands harder.
Exactly. So this is a legit thing. Like people are thinking like this is a legit
thing. It's a sanctioned fight.
Ask fucking Antonio Margarito.
Yeah. Tell the story. Who was the guy that he called him with the gloves?
So it was like this. So Antonio Margarito, he was like this Mexican brawler, and there was this other fighter named Miguel Cotto who was this
people know Margarito because he almost killed Manny Pacquiao.
Well, and Margarito almost killed Miguel Cotto as well. So Pacquiao beat the piss out of Margarito. But
he did get one ridiculous hit on Pacquiao where I was like, I don't know. That was when Pacquiao was all juiced up, drinking his own piss. Anyway.
Yeah. So either way, Miguel Cotto was by far the better boxer, and he's winning the first few rounds. Then eventually you just see Margarito's hand, like his jabs and stuff, just really start to affect Cotto. Cotto's head swells up 3 times the size. His
hematoma.
Face is completely closed. You could tell like there had to be brain fluid leak. He was all kinds of jacked up, right? Margarito then becomes like the working man's hero. He's like the #1 thing in boxing. He then moves on. He then moves on. Well, no. He then goes to fight Sugar Shane Mosley.
Oh, Mosley, yeah.
Right? Sugar Shane Mosley's trainer at the time was brother Nassim Richards.
Philly's RIP. Philly's one of the best trainers ever out of Philly.
Exactly. Bernard Hopkins' trainer, right?
And his 2 sons were legends, Tiger and Rock.
Correct. Yes. So, brother Nassim.
These are boxing guys.
Yeah. So, Brother Nassim was the guy they sent into the opponent's locker room. So Brother Nassim goes into Margarito's locker room to see him wrap the hands. He sees that one of the hands is already wrapped, and he's like, "Fucking no way!
Cut it!
I'll get you the fucking tape, but you're not doing that, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as he took it off, they saw the wraps were wet wraps that were soaked in plaster of Paris, right? Told the boxing association and everything like that, and Mosley, instead of canceling the fight, continues, has the fights, and beats the fucking shit out of Margarito.
I'm pretty sure too, Matt. Didn't he get a cut of the purse because of that too?
Cut of the purse, and Margarito was suspended, world suspension from boxing for 3 years. His first fight back, Miguel Cotto beat fucking Margarito. And like Cotto, because legit
Cotto's revenge.
You have to think Margarito had dropped Kerman Cintron. He was really known to have heavy hands. So like there's a bunch, all his fights are now like there's an asterisk next to it. And legit,
because hadn't Cotto beat Mosley going into that? That's why you're like, there's no way Margarito ever should have been near Cotto.
Agree.
The thing with Margarito too was it was somewhat the reason why people let it float over and thought it was somewhat believable was because Margarito's style was just absolute brawling. Like he was a nut job. He would come out, and so people were like, "No, it makes sense that he's swinging so hard when he hits people. He fights like a maniac. Like he's not a technical boxer. He's a brawler."
Yeah.
And then guys who know, like, you're never gonna fool a guy who's been around the sport for 40 years in the streets of North Philly, where they do what they call smokers, which the most fucking shenanigans happen at smokers.
Yeah.
So this guy's.
I wonder how many guys.
I've been in a few of those that didn't work.
I fought in a smoker I think it was like a year and a half ago.
There was this. I went to a smoker before. Right, wait to hear this real quick. But I went to a smoker before. One of our giant guys from Riches is fighting. Right. We go to set up. The next fight is some older, like 40-year-old fat guy that you could tell, he didn't want to. He wasn't going to be a UFC. He wasn't like trying to make a profession. He just wanted to scratch, getting in there and testing himself, right? Which is respectable. Everybody respects that.
He was a Spider Rico guy.
Guess who his promoter set him up with? This is why I hate promoters because they don't know shit. All of a sudden, I look over. It's Phil Davis.
Oh shit!
And I remember like Rich and them going, "Yo, this kid's a wrestler." They said he's pretty good. You know who this is? I go, "No, let me see." I go, "Oh no." They were like, "What?" I was like, "How the fuck is he in an amateur fight?" I said, "This guy's a fucking national champion wrestler. Like, no, this dude's a freak." And they were like, "Yeah, he looks pretty ripped." I'm like, "No, you guys don't understand."
He's
And then
gonna
they
hurt
go out
you.
there, they touch gloves, and you can already see the big dudes looking at him like, well, I'm kind of pudgy, and this dude is shred city. This ain't gonna go well. Right off the bat, fucking Phil, who was raw as hell, swings the biggest punch you've ever seen, barely touches the guy. The guy just takes a knee and says, "Nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
Nope,
Have
not
this
dying. I gotta
no
go to
box.
work.
I've
I gotta
seen
go to
that.
work Monday."
I've seen that before, where like sometimes like if you have a guy who's can be physically intimidating, he can be aggressive, and like you can that tests the character. That'll separate the men from the boys at times. But either way, so goddamn. All right. But either way, so Miguel Cotto beats the shit out of Margarito. But I did want to say this. So there was another guy in Margarito's camp. I believe his El Perro was his nickname. I forget his boxing name, but he fought Harry Joe Yorgi. And this is Harry Joe Yorgi this is when he got knocked out on HBO.
Yeah, in a title fight, right?
Correct. And and this guy
was probably wrapping his hands.
Well, Harry did tell me this, that his guy, when he went to the guy's locker room, his hand was already wrapped.
No way.
Yeah, and he was
my God.
And he was in Margarito's camp. Like they were training partners. Yeah.
And for people with people that don't know the technical term, like Matt's talking about, when you add this plaster-like substance, your wraps turn into what you use as a cast.
Yeah.
It gets as hard as almost concrete. It's insane.
It's fucking worst.
Yeah.
It is the worst. Dude, imagine, like, people don't know. Like, your hands, when you
hands suck. They break when they hit shit.
Well, but your wraps themselves, like when I wrap my hands for a fight, you get a roll and a half of tape on each hand plus a roll of gauze, right? Yep. And like I would say the two guys that would wrap my hands are Rich Latta and Dan Schmedberg, and they are fucking the best. Dirty Dan, but they are the fucking best at wrapping hands, and legit. Like I want them wrapped real early because I want to sweat a lot in them and get them really wet. Because when you get them really wet, you fucking let them go. Oh yeah. Right. So either way, when that happens, these things are fucking ready to go. So imagine that, but with the plaster of Paris in it. Those wraps were hard as fucking.
It's almost like holding a roll of quarters in your hands when you hit somebody at that point. It's just it's not good. It's not good.
It's almost like having brass knuckles under your glove, and that
you're right.
Like, if people don't know this, look up the Antonio Margarito versus Miguel Cotto, and you'll see Miguel Cotto's head, and you'll be like, it should have been attempted murder at that point.
Yeah, you better give them a warning before you watch that, because that shit, when his head swells out from that hemato, it is fucking gnarly.
Oh, it's so nasty. Miguel Cotto is one of the best boxers of his generation, and he had to take a knee just because of it was so bad. So, all right, let's keep this moving then.